Good day everyone, welcome again to another episode of tax training, and today I will discuss to you the nature and characteristics of taxation. But before that, I would like to say thank you to everyone, especially po sa mga subscribers natin. Umabot na tayo ng 7,370, no? So what is the nature and characteristics of taxation? So for the nature, ang characteristic ng taxation is it is inherent in sovereignty. Sabi na nga natin, kahit na wala siya sa constitution, wala siya sa mga batas, pero inherent siya, nandyan na siya kahit wala pa tayong mga batas na nagsasabi, no? So it is inherent in sovereignty. The power to tax is an attribute of sovereignty, no? Kasama na yan sa pagiging bansa. It is a power emanating from necessity. Bakit? Kasi kailangan. It is a necessary burden to preserve the state's sovereignty and a means to give the citizenry an army to resist an aggression, a navy to defend its shores from invasion, a corps of civil servants to serve, public improvement designed for the enjoyment of the citizenry, and those which come within the state's territory and facilities, and protection which a government is supposed to provide. No? So, Philippine Guarantee Company Inc. versus Commissioner JR number L22074, year 1965. No? So, taxation is inherent in sovereignty. Essentially a legislative function. So taxation is essentially a legislative function. The power to tax is peculiarly and exclusively legislative and cannot be exercised by the executive or judicial branch of the government. So, ang power to tax, sabi natin, hindi mo pwedeng enforce yung tax without the law, no? The basis. It is legislative in character. Sino yung makakagawa lang? It emanates from the lower house or the House of Representatives. No? Hence, only Congress, our national legislative body, can impose taxes. The levy of a tax, however, may also be made by a local legislative body subject to such limitations as may be provided by law. It includes the authority to determine the nature, purpose, extent, coverage, apportionment, situs, and method of collection of the tax. Grant tax exemptions or condonations, and specify or provide for the administrative as well as judicial remedies that either the government or the taxpayers may avail themselves in the implementation of the tax measure. Yun po yung legislative characters natin. Okay, so it is an essentially legislative functions. It is subject, so taxation is subject to constitutional and inherent limitations. So, ano po yung constitutional? It is embodied in the Constitution. Ano naman yung inherent? No? Kasama na yan na mayroong bansa na kasama na, mayroon na siya kaagad na powers. No? The power to tax is said to be the strongest of all the powers of the government. No? So, there are three inherent powers of the state. Ito yung taxation, the eminent domain, and the police power. But the most or the strongest of all the powers of government is the taxation. It is unlimited, plenary, comprehensive, and supreme. In the absence of constitutional restrictions, the principal check on its abuse resting in the responsibility of members of Congress to their constituents. However, the power of taxation is subject to constitutional and inherent limitations. These limitations are those provided in the fundamental law or implied therefrom, while the rest spring from the nature of the taxing power itself, although they may or may not be provided in the Constitution. Okay, so what are the characteristics? It is an enforced contribution. Its imposition is in no way dependent upon the will or assent of the person taxed, but positive acts of government. Number 2, generally payable in the form of money, although the law may provide payment in kind In example, bank pay certificates under Section 2 RA number 304 as amended. Proportionate in character, laid by some rule of apportionment, which is usually based on ability to pay. The rule of taxation shall be uniform and equitable. The Congress shall evolve a progressive system of taxation. Section 28.1, Article 6, 1987 Constitution. It is personal to the taxpayer. It is levied on persons, property rights, acts, privileges, or transactions. It is levied by the state which has jurisdiction or control over the subject to be taxed. Levied by the lawmaking body of the state. The power to tax is legislative power, but is also granted to local governments subject to such guidelines and limitations as law may be provided by. So each local government unit shall have the power to create its own source of revenue. Ito na yung sa local government, no? To levy taxes, fees, and charges subject to such guidelines and limitations as the Congress may provide, consistent with the basic policy of local autonomy. Such taxes, fees, and charges shall accrue exclusively to the local government. No? So that is embodied in Section 5, Article 10, 1987 Constitution. Okay, so the nature and characteristics of taxation. No? So, with that, I would like to say thank you and sana may tutunan po tayo. And please like and subscribe